Okay, so today is Thursday, August 7th, 2025. Good morning. Yes, I got my hair cut. I guess I'll just start with that. It's the most obvious thing I could talk about. So, I gotten my hair cut, I don't know how time works now, like 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. And I noticed, like, number one, it's already getting closer. I guess I'll put it like this. The reason I got my last haircut was like for purely practical purposes. It was, I kind of need to get it out of my face. I want to get it shorter. And I technically got that, like it was out of my face, but there was still just so much other hair. And like, I like having long hair. I do. I think it can be very fun. I sort of miss being able to just like touch it, I guess, and be able to like play with it. But it was getting to a point where I'm like, this is starting to get kind of annoying. Like, it feels very heavy. I mean, it's summer, but even still, I'm like, man, now that I don't have it, it's like I don't have a blanket anymore. It's like I'm getting colder more. But it was a few days ago. I was doing business at the tag agency because, you know, that time of the year, and there's a barbershop right next door. And earlier that morning, that was Tuesday, I think, and obviously today's Thursday. I was like, well, I was kind of thinking earlier this morning that my hair feels like it's getting longer. I mean, obviously it is, it's growing, but I'm like, it's already almost getting to that eye zone. And I think when there's so much of it anyways, it feels like, how do I want to say this? Like, obviously if there's so much more of it, it feels like there's more. I guess it feels like more of a distraction visually, because when I'm in court, you know, you don't want to have like all this insane hair. You want to look as professional as possible. So I think going shorter will be a good idea. I like it. I'm not like, dang, I look incredible. It was really funny because my mom was like one of the first people to see it, and she's like, you look like you're about to go back to high school. Like, it was just something about the way I looked that day, and like, I kind of noticed it too. I think I messaged a friend, I was like, dude, I went to court this morning. Now I look like I'm about to go to a pep rally. It just kind of made me laugh. But anyways, so that's the obvious thing out of the way. Getting a few other things, I don't want to say out of the way, I guess it's more getting into some of the topics. So Clay and I, mostly Clay, started a horror game the other day called Elisa. It is this PS1 era Resident Evil-esque game. And when I say that, I don't mean like it came out on the PS1. Like, no, this came out in like 2017. But it has that Resident Evil PS1 era like look and vibe to it. And I think it's really neat. And it also has this very like dollhouse circus. Maybe not quite Alice, but the dress the main character wears gives me kind of an Alice vibe. Like, I really like this aesthetic. The monsters are creepy. I mean, it's just these, like, some of them are just, like, very doll-like. Others remind me of, like, how do I describe him? Like, there's this one big dude in the game that reminds me of this one, like, really big dude from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And just, like, the body shape, the look on his face. The first, like, monsters in the game, which is an unwinnable fight, reminded me of, like, some of Sid's toys from Toy Story. This game's aesthetic is awesome. And we played it for a bit. I got to do, like, it's basically Clay playing, and then there was a point where he got to a slide puzzle. He's like, man, I hate slide puzzles. I'm like, oh boy, I love slide puzzles, give it here. But, I hope we do more of it, because, like, I want to see where this goes. Like, this is super neat. There was that. I guess I'll go and talk about the other major game I need to talk about. So Digimon Survive. I don't remember if I talked about this last week, because I don't remember what day it was that this happened. But I had finished the moral route. I think this was last Friday that it happened, so I don't think I've talked about it yet. But I finished the moral route, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do the truthful route. I know the thing I have to do to trigger that route. And I did it. But it didn't work. And I was very confused and frustrated. Because, like, but I'm supposed to do, like, this thing, right? And I did it. And then when I, like, looked a little deeper into it, it's hard to go into, like, the specifics without getting into spoilers. So I guess I'll just go ahead and give, like, a spoiler warning for Survive. So to get to the true end, there's a character who dies very early on. And if you get their affection high enough, they will survive, and that's what locks you into that ending. My understanding was you needed to get their affection to 30. I've also seen other places say, you know, maybe it's like 35. I'm like, okay, that should be doable. There is a glitch in chapters 3 and 5 of the game where if you, like, there's certain things you can do, like, to up people's affection, but if you keep, like, saving and reloading, you'll just keep getting the affection higher and higher. So I got this character up to 73. It's like, okay, they're fine. I'm Gucci. But also, because affection points are important for other characters and them getting their mega evolutions, I was like, okay, let me do the glitch as well for some other characters. So, I got a couple other characters to 70, because that's the threshold for a mega. And one of those characters, I gave them a right answer, just kind of like flipping through answers and like other random dialogue, which put them at 74, 1 point higher than the other character that I needed to save. I didn't think that was a problem, because I hit the threshold of 30 to 35, but the dude still died? And then when I check later, I find out the requirement is not he has to hit a certain number, it's he has to have the highest number. And I don't know if he has to have the highest number and it has to meet a threshold, but it's like, oh, look, someone was higher, guess what, he's dead. By 1 point. Are you kidding me? And this is only something you can do on a New Game Plus, by the way. And it made me realize, like, so I either have to play the entire game again, which I can do in, like, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 hours, because I can skip most of the I can skip all of the dialogue. But at the same time, like, I still have to do all the maps and all the exploration, which aren't, like, the maps aren't hard. And honestly, the game never got hard. Like, there's a couple maps where I'm like, okay, like, this one I had to, like, really think, but I kept waiting for, I don't want to do a whole Digimon Survive thing. Like, I will get into it later. I do want to do a separate video on it. But it is just that moment of, I could play through the whole game again, and it would take me a couple hours, and then I could get back here. But do I even want to do that anymore? Like, I don't know. This kind of broke me. And it happened about a week ago, and I still kind of feel the same way. I haven't started, I mean, like I said, like, I did at least a thing with Clay, but, like, I haven't really started playing anything else yet. But I'm like, yeah, I think I'm done here. Now, I still really like the game. Again, I'll do a whole thing on it. I think there are problems. Like, there are things narratively that really work. Other things narratively I think don't work quite as well. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And I'm really glad I played it. But for that to be how it ends, I'm like, it leaves kind of a bitter taste in my mouth. And I think part of that is the game's fault. Like, part of it is mine. We're like, well, let me try and, like, do a glitch and take advantage of shit and blah, blah, blah. Like, I will not deny that. But also, the game's not exactly clear in what you have to do. It just says, like, man, like, every time you finish another, like, a route that's not the true, and it's like, man, if this guy's affinity was higher, maybe everyone could have been saved. Like, bro, it was at 73. It was high. Like, what are you talking about? What is this shit? Like, I'm kind of getting heated just talking about it. I'm done playing it. And, like, I haven't even sat down and be like, all right, let me, like, watch a playthrough of the true ending. I'm just like, I'm done. I feel like Chidi after he learned about the dot above the eye from The Good Place. Just that, like, that broke me. The dot above the eye, that broke me. I'm done. So there's that. Speaking of things that I think are trying to break me and kind of have. So Clay and I have been watching Gundam Wing. I still haven't watched Victory Gundam. I still haven't watched Pokemon Horizons. But it was like last Sunday, I think. It was like, I don't know, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to start Distant Lands? Should we watch a Godzilla movie? We should, but I don't know. Hey, you want to watch Gundam Wing? Sure, that's on both of our lists. Because I've said before, I've gone back and forth on, I'm like, I don't really want to watch Wing, because I tried watching it a few years ago and I didn't get into it, but I'm also like, I don't know, maybe now that I've gotten more into Gundam, I should give it another chance. Maybe I'll like it more and appreciate it more, maybe it'd have the opposite effect, I don't know. I feel like I should give it a good faith effort. We're like 7, 8 episodes in, I'm not even sure what number we're on. I guess for context, the meeting of all the I guess they got like not super deep into spoilers. I know it came out, when did it come out? Like the 90s, 2000s? The Alliance meeting happened and Hero did a big dumb. That's where we're at. And there's things that have happened in the show like that where I'm like, there is real potential here. There's some interesting shit, some interesting scenarios. I can see the potential for some of the characters having like really good backstories or having really good development. I could see the potential for a good series here. But after 7 episodes, man, I don't care. Like, why does no one in this show act like a human being? It all just, it's not even like the show and like the way the characters act feel slightly off. It's super distractingly off. And there's some people who I'm like, okay, this person's like fine. Like, I feel like the characters I consistently am like, okay, I feel like I understand you and you don't really bother me. Or like Duo and, what's the Colonel's name? Like Trez or Trezzy, something like that. Pretty much everyone else is just either really underwhelmingly boring or what? Like, there's so many scenes with Relina where I'm like, I think I understand what they're trying to do with her character, and it's on paper, it's good, but in execution, just, huh? The scene that lives in my head rent-free, and it's not even the like, Hero, I'm here, you gonna come out and kill me? Which is from what, like episode 4? It's the scene from episode 1, where she first meets him, and she calls an ambulance, and he hijacks the ambulance, which I'm kind of laughing just as it's happening. I'm like, this is really silly. But, okay, I think I'm having fun. And after he drives off in the ambulance, she just sits there and then goes, hi, my name is Relina. What's your name? Like, what? What? Like, there's a sketch from Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's one of their superhero sketches where, you know, they all have to be like weird, goofy superheroes that the audience picks out. And the one that lives in my head rent-free, I think Greg is the one that played him. Was it Greg Stroops, I think is his name? Also in The Nightmare Before Christmas, he plays watch I turn this old brat into a most delightful hat. That's him. My compliments from BTU on this most intriguing hat. Anyway, sorry. He gets to play Delayed Reaction Man. which I just love as a concept. I think there's like a bit where he gets hit by a car and then it takes a second for him to react to it. But as Relina sees this dude drive off in an ambulance, oh, now she's introducing her. So like, it's just a delayed reaction, man. This is great, but also, what? There's just so many scenes with her that are like that. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe as this goes on, she's going to be a great character, and she's going to be really interesting and really likable and sympathetic, or the entire time and be like, what's wrong with this show? There was a point where, I don't know what his name is, it's like Wu Fei, I think. I think his Gundam's called the Shen Long. Clay and I call it the Min Min because it has like a really long stretchy hands and shit. I really like this Gundam, by the way. I really like the Min Min. But he like throws a bag in the air, jumps like 10 feet in the air, kicks the bag, which triggers the flashbangs, which he's completely unaffected by, and then, gets into the Min Min and like does shit. And I think the way Clay described that scene, which is kind of perfect for how Wing feels, is the show has G Gundam physics, but has the tone of something like Zeta, where it can be really goofy and insane in what happens, but is still taking itself seriously. And boy, it doesn't work. And then when Jose came in the other day, like yesterday, as we were talking about the show, he's like, yeah, so the show feels like it's trying to be a more serious show like Zeta, but it feels like G Gundam. I'm like, that's exactly what we were just talking about the other day. That's exactly what's wrong with Wing. It just doesn't work. It doesn't compute. And at least so far, there's like 40 episodes left, so there's plenty of time for it to get like really good. But I'm also like, man, there's another 40 episodes. Oh no! Like, I don't know if we can last that long. Oh man, I understand why I didn't get much further the last time I tried to watch Wing. Oh man. Comparatively, I watched the first 2 episodes of the King of the Hill reboot. I had a great time. I love King of the Hill. And I feel like there have been a few moments, maybe like a few jokes that were a little off, a few line deliveries that were maybe a little off, but no, like the voice acting still feels on point though. And a lot of the writing, I'm like, yeah, that feels like Hank Hill. Yeah, there's this one joke in episode 2 with like Joseph and Dale, and I just love seeing it's like, yeah, Joseph is Dale's son. He took after his daddy, and just the scene where he's running and he like rolls into a trash bag. Like, I'm not doing it justice explaining it. You can't ever really do a joke justice explaining it, but just the visual was so funny. And the line in episode 1 that Bill has about finishing Netflix, I won't like spoil the punchline, but the punchline to that, I laughed for like a straight minute. Like it got me. It was so good. Again, like there's still like 8 more episodes. Maybe I'll be like, man, the first 2 are good and everything else fell off. I'm like, no, this feels right. This feels right. I'm really happy that this is cooking. Other stuff I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. It was okay. Like, I don't feel like I have a lot to say about it. Like, it was fun. It's really pretty. I just love how colorful this movie is, and that freaking just smiling tiger. I liked the tiger, what can I say? But from like the first few minutes, I realized what my big problem with the movie was going to be. This is a movie about a group of girls who fight monsters through singing. And the entire time I'm kind of watching this opening scene where they're explaining their backstories and they're on the plane and then they're singing while fighting monsters and taking the stage and everything. I'm just thinking to myself, I've seen this before, and it's called Symphogear. And Symphogear can't be topped. There is a scene in Symphogear in the premiere of season 4 where someone shoots a missile at a helicopter, and the people in the helicopter just open the helicopter doors, and the missile just goes right through it, and then someone else hits it, and it explodes. And those, 20 seconds perfectly encapsulate everything that Symphogear is. It is just complete over-the-top insanity, and it... the way Symphogear feels like someone just hitting action figures together and being hey, what if we did this goofiness? What if they were in space and there was a missile, and then when the missile falls apart, it's just these 3 girls and they're singing in the vacuum of space, and then they're on a space shuttle, and then they have to drive the space shuttle into the earth, and they're about to hit a mountain, so the girl with all the giant missiles and shit just blows a hole in the mountain, and then they go through the mountain, and then they crash. They have to drive the shuttle, so the main character is she's punching trees because the trees are in the way, and then she just jumps off and uses her super strength to slow it down, but they're about to hit a building, so she just throws it over her head. And that's the start of season 3. That all happens in Symphogear. It can't be topped. K-pop Demon Hunters was fun. The whole idea of a K-pop demon boy band slurping souls is hilarious. I love this. But I'm sorry, I've seen this concept. I don't even just want to say I've seen it done better. I've seen it perfected. You're not gonna come close. And when they are, and I think for me, when they're really focusing on that aspect, the bit in the movie where they're developing the takedown song, and there's a part where one of them hits a monster and it starts bouncing around the wall. She's oh, that's gonna be the beat to the song. I'm this is really cool. I really enjoyed that. But a lot of just I don't want to say I don't like the message of the movie. That's not the case, but it's that liar revealed story I've seen a gajillion times. And I can see what's happening. They don't have a clue. I know where this is going. And it takes, I guess for me, at this point in my life, with all those stories I've seen, longer to get there than I would have liked. And then, yeah, when you have to have the third act breakup, excuse me, it's probably not even that it goes on for that long, but it's just where I know all the notes to this song, and I wish we were doing something a little bit more fun with it, I guess. Though I will say, I like the reveal scene where it's, I guess I'm going into spoilers now, but the stuff that happens at the Idol Awards, to keep it a bit more vague, that I thought was really cool. I liked that a lot. But then when it's okay, now we are in the third act breakup part, it's okay, it's whatever, if I'm being honest. Again, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. But I feel the core, how do I say it? I guess the foundation of the movie, that, kind of liar revealed stuff, this isn't really anything for me. The window dressing of the K-pop band fighting monsters is very fun. I've seen that perfected already. So I liked it. I don't think I loved it. And then later that day, because that was Sunday, later that day, I watched the new Fantastic Four movie. I think I want to do a whole video on it. We'll see, but that one I loved. I really, really loved that movie. Yeah, I do plan on doing a thing on it, so I'll get to it later. Let's see. What did that even say? Oh, I guess just a few other things. Brain forgot how to brain for a second. I finished Arc 1 of Ward. I will definitely do a video on that. Just short version. Kind of like what I said in my Glowworm video. It's just good to be back. I like parahumans. I like this world. I like seeing powers. I just think it's super neat. I think it's really interesting. One of my favorite characters from Worm. I was combining how to say Worm and Ward. I don't know. It's a 4-letter word. Maybe Wild Paul would make that into a story. But anyways, one of my favorite characters from Worm shows up near the end. And I kind of almost cried. Like, there's a scene where the main character's interaction with this, like, she was misty-eyed and I was getting a little misty-eyed. I'm like, I'm almost getting misty-eyed. Like, I really liked this character. And, this is good. This is... As much as I'll be like, yeah, this is why I like parahumans. It's like, I love seeing all the really creative powers and, like, the insane situations. And I do... something I said throughout Worm, it's just those human moments and interactions. That's what always made the story for me. And I'm like, yeah, we've still got that in spades. So, I definitely liked Arc 1. It's about, like, 19 to go. And they're super long. So we'll see how it goes from here. But I feel like I'm still in good hands. And I did finally finish that Ding Dang prologue that I've been working on. I was able to get it done. And as I was doing it, I'm like, man, this sucks. Like, this, I don't know, like, this feels weird and this feels jank, and I'll, like, click for a while and then I just can't, and then I'll get back to it. I'm like, all right, we're going. Okay, kind of hit a wall, and I gotta do that. It's not good. It's weird. It sucks. And then I sat down and read it when it was done. I'm like, oh yeah, this is way better than what I had before. I don't know, there's something kind of fun about that. You're like, when you're in the process, you're like, man, this is just jank, and then when it all comes together, like, oh wait, no, I cooked. I have sent it to some people, like, just like people I know that read some of my stuff, and they're like, oh no, yeah, like, this is really good, and it's way better than the prologue you had before. I'm like, okay, good, I'm glad to know I learned, and, like, I progressed. I think I did mention that with some of the tweaks to the prologue, I can see, I can see the ripple effects that it'll have in the rest of the story, and I'm excited to start implementing them. I already have. I'm around 50, 60-ish pages in, and how long is it in total? I think the manuscript in total is like 330, 340, somewhere in that range. So I'm already a pretty good chunk of the way through. And I think what helps is I've already done, like, extensive edits. So this is, like, I'm still noticing a couple things. I'm like, oh, okay, like, this sentence could be phrased a little better. Like, this could be tightened up a bit. Like, this could be tightened up a bit. This could be, I don't know, this could sound a little more, like, prosy, I guess. There are points, because I have artwork of some of my characters now. And I have a few more coming in soon. Not of anyone new, but it's, like, more art of people that I already have, which makes me happy and excited. And part of it is I'm like, you know, I should probably start tweaking character descriptions a bit, because there was how they looked in my head, and now that I have, like, actual artwork of them, that I feel like for the most part are accurate. Let me tweak the descriptions a bit to kind of fit this a bit more. And then there's other things where there's some characters, because there's like there's a race of Fae that have pointy ears. And I'm like, you know, some of these characters that have those aren't described as such. I mean, my bad, I guess. Like, I, for some reason, just didn't think of it. So I need to put that in there. But just kind of some of those things where I'm like, I either need to tighten this up a bit, make it sound a little better, or just, oh, this is kind of something I missed. It's giving me another chance to, you know, kind of make those tweaks. In addition to the, I don't even want to say big picture, because again, like, I feel like it's more of, excuse me. I feel like the overall, like, tweaks I'm really trying to make, I guess based on the prologue, are more of, there's gonna be scenes with the main character and her perspective is gonna be a little bit different, but not in a way for me that's like, oh man, so much of the book has to change now. It's more of, I feel like the way she's written is gonna make more sense because it worked, but I feel like a lot of her issues were kind of more in her own head than based on actual reality. And that's slightly intentional, but was mostly supposed to be like, no, like, this is kind of like the world that she's in. This is how people see her, but she interprets it in a way that goes, like, even further than that. And now it's getting tweaked in a way where it's, no, her perception is still a bit skewed, but it's a lot more grounded in reality than it was before. And I think that's going to make it a lot more effective. And just in a way where, number one, like, this makes a lot more sense, but I feel like it makes her, like, a lot more sympathetic as well. And then just kind of some other things, like there's a bit near the end of the book, which I'm not going to spoil, but there's a part at the end of the book where in the previous draft, I'm like, okay, like, I like this scene. Like, I love the idea of what happens in this scene. And I think the way it's executed is good. Like, it's kind of about as good as it can be for how the book is, like, from the way the main character's reality is and her perception of it. This is about as good as this can get. And with this one little change and seeing the ripples, I'm like, okay, this scene is way more meaningful now. Like, it already had meaning and it was nice, but it's so much more effective, and I really, really love it. Like, I'm excited to mess with it. So, yeah, that's that. Maybe I'll get back into Isla after all this, but even then, when I get done with this, I'm like, okay, now I get to start writing book 2. Woohoo! And oh man, I have a lot of shit that I'm gonna have to tweak. But that's that. That's pretty much it. I guess I finally got a letter back from my friend, because it had been a few months because he was in the process of moving, so I wasn't able. Like, I was like, did my letter get lost? It's been a bit longer than usual. Like, the first thing he says was like, yeah, like, I was in the process of moving, so I didn't want anything to get lost in the shuffle. So we're all good there. Yeah, that's it. Excuse me. Hope you have a good day. It's been a good week. That August ends up being a really good month. Etc. I'll see you next week. Take care.